morning. It's Thursday, August 20th. I've got a movie here that I'm going to watch, which will probably take me 6 miles to run if I run at my normal pace, 6 or something. So that is my goal this morning. This afternoon, Sharon has worship practice, but most of my day is going to be spent doing more reading and preparations for some meetings. I need to go over some documents and be prepared for those meetings. So anyway, I don't know if you guys saw the news about that pastor's wife that they found. That's just heartbreaking. Ministry is hard enough as it is. And then you just put this time period on top of that, and it's much more difficult. And so there's a lot of pastors who are struggling. It's just really hard. And yeah, I think we just need to be praying for that family, but also all the pastors that are out and about. And could be an interesting time after this this COVID thing kind of releases. The election time is over, and we kind of see what we're going to be dealing with for the next 4 years. Just our nation in general. I'm going to be, transparent, honest here for just a second. I plan to vote. I will vote for the candidate that I think is least evil for our country, because we really don't have a lot of great choices. And I say that from a kind and Christian perspective. We, as Christians, need to be standing in a place that recognizes the evils on both sides, but also recognizes some of the good things that both sides have to offer. But ultimately recognize that neither political party has the answers and can fix this country. Jesus is the only one that can fix this country. And quite honestly, I'm not sure that is the direction we plan to go. When I read the book of Revelation, when I read about end times, I don't see that as Jesus giving us perspective in order to prevent those things from happening. I think it's just informational. This is what's going to happen. And so I think Christians sometimes get caught up in trying to prevent something they're not supposed to prevent, trying to manipulate systems that really don't concern us that much. I've been blessed to be an American, and I love this country, but this is not my home, and my focus is on the kingdom, not the temporal place where I live. And I will say this, no matter how many people disagree with me, you can be a good Christian no matter what the government system is. Should I vote? Yes, we have that responsibility. We've been given the pleasures, we've been given the blessings, we've been given the opportunities to have our say, but ultimately that is not the answer. So anyway, that's what I've been thinking about as we talk about these difficult times and all the things that God has going on in the futures of pastors and leaders and you guys, whoever might be watching this at some point. So, let's run. I did 6 miles on the treadmill this morning, and now Elijah and I are going for a walk to check the mail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did it again. I forgot to do a video last night. We were watching home videos. Sharon got some kind of connector from my mom that we can connect to the old camera and convert it digitally into the computer, and then she can cut out what she doesn't want to keep and all that other stuff. Anyway, we were watching some of those last night, and then a windstorm came up. Look at all these branches that fell out of the tree last night. And it looks like it did rain a little bit. Been kind of a blah week. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, though. I know I've been working on sermon prep, working on reading over stuff for meetings that I'm going to be having the next couple of weeks. But I just feel like I haven't done much because I haven't been out of the house, haven't done anything physical. And so that's a real struggle for me. Looks like everything got watered pretty good. That is a real struggle for me. If I sit inside and I read, do mental work, I still feel like I didn't get anything done. I feel like that's boring. So there must have been enough rain. I didn't think I needed to water anything outside this morning. So now it's time to get on the treadmill and run. So yesterday I read about half of The Operator. I then worked with Sharon. Sharon's been trying to get these videos done, so we did a little bit of that. But like I said, I feel kind of blah, just kind of like I'm not doing much. After I run, let me share with you my thoughts about the Sermon Sunday, because it's really got me thinking about a few things, a couple of different recent thoughts that I've had, and yeah, let's talk about that. Like I said, just feel like the last couple of days have been really boring, but that's kind of the point of this blog, is to show that everyday life is not really all that exciting, but it's real life. So let me share with you the ideas that, or some questions that I've had. So the text that I'm preaching from is Mark chapter 4. It's where Jesus calms the sea. So it says after he left the crowd, he wanted to go across the Sea of Galilee. And while they're on their way, a storm comes up and he's asleep. The disciples wake him up. He rebukes the wind and calms the sea, and then asks them about their faith. And then they were amazed that he had authority over the wind and the sea. I have so many different questions, and I'm thinking about doing a sermon, or not a sermon series. I think it'll turn into that, but I'm going to do a study about sleep and the Bible. A few weeks ago, when I was teaching through Jonah, I noticed that there in that story, Jonah is asleep, and Jonah is not following God's will at that time. And a lot of times we tend to say, oh, Jesus is able to sleep in the storm because he has complete peace. And I'm not sure if that's completely accurate. I don't think it's inaccurate, but I'm not sure that's the full story. So at some point I'll do a series about sleeping in the Bible. So I had a question about Jesus sleeping then. Also had a question about the faith. He questions the faith of the disciples, and he says, you have little faith, or where's your faith, or something like that. I don't have my Bible in front of me, but what faith is he expecting them to have here? Because I'm not sure. So it's something I'm going to wrestle with over the next day or two as I finish up final preparations on this sermon. I often like to just sit and wonder what everyday life was like for the disciples and Jesus. We have a few stories that are told, but there's 3 years of information that's compressed down into the Gospels. And you know, just your average, normal, everyday walking from one village to the other, or what they did from day to day, interests me.
Because it doesn't make the sound we expect it to make. AI is the rule breaker. Okay. Spell the word said.
SIAD.
Backwards. S-A-I.
Looks like Monday. I've got to learn how to do school for one day for the boys because we had the daycare. The lady that is in our church that runs the daycare needs some help, and we could use the extra income. So Sharon is going to work one day a week over there. That means I have to learn how to do school. Elijah and I went down and checked the mail again today, and my little bracket came in. So now I can bounce and my microphone doesn't fall into frame. Sharon really hated that, making other videos. So I've been reading The Operator by Robert O'Neill, and as much as I respect those guys and appreciate all of their service, I get kind of discouraged when I read Navy SEAL books. I've read several of them. Most of them are very, very similar. They spend half the book talking about buds and the requirements of becoming a SEAL, and then, their missions, which is interesting. That's why I keep reading them. But I'm always kind of disheartened with the language, the amount of alcohol, and the broken marriages and different things that happen in that. These people that sacrifice of themselves and do things, violent things, difficult things, hard things, so that we can live in peace and prosperity like we do. It's kind of disheartening that that their relationship with the Lord is non-existent or very strained. We'll use this for kindling in the backyard.